Welcome to Swish and Flick, an all Potter podcast.
Swish and flick. Everyone? Swish and flick.
Hello. And welcome to Swish and Flick. It's episode 109. I'm Tiffany.
I'm Megan.
I'm Katie.
I'm the cool kid with the purple pop filter.
And this episode is sponsored by Megan Babulka, who we like to refer to as Bulbasaur. Yeah.
I, for a second, thought you were talking about our Megan. I was like, that's not her last name.
No, it is
Because I was
not.
busy petting Files. I was real confused for a second.
So, today we will be discussing the second half of chapter 33 of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, the
Voldemort's monologue.
the Death Eaters.
The Death Dudes.
So, make sure that
Buddies. Sorry.
are you
Death pals.
Scarf.
The no longer alive friends. Mongers.
Comrades.
Deceased snackers.
The deceased snackers. I like that.
Why
Death
snacker?
Eaters?
Oh, eaters. I was like, what?
Oh, it's gonna be that kind of episode.
So make sure you've read the chapter and you're ready to jinx your way into the details. Before we begin, Megan has weekly profit news that I don't even know if I've heard about this, and I don't know where I've been.
Literally?
Correct.
Wow.
Okay, well, first of all, I wanted to again remind everybody that we are going to be at LeakyCon in Boston, October 13th. Our two panels are on Sunday, October 13th. On the 12th, we're having a hangout in Boston at Thinking Cup on
Hanover
Street in Boston at 11 a.m. So if you can make it, be there. We would love to see you and chat with you. But other weekly profit news. I don't know if any of you have heard that our girl Emma is going to be playing Meg in Little Women. But they dropped the trailer not too long ago. So I thought that we could just tell people about Little Women if you didn't know, because Tiffany apparently didn't know. Oh my God. Anyway, we've got Emma Watson, Saoirse Ronan, Meryl Streep, Timothy Chalamet, Laura Dern, and more in the Louisa May Alcott Book 2 movie, Little Women. It looks really, 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 really good. So Emma's playing Meg. Saoirse Ronan is playing Jo, who is like... Jo is like my fave.
I've never read the book. Sorry.
Me either, but
neither.
I've seen the previous versions of the movie.
I've not.
Oh, it's good.
I do know some spoilers.
Oh, you know what?
Well, yeah.
Maybe I should get it on Audible. Do they have
Oh,
it?
yeah, I bet they do.
Because
I bet they do.
I feel like I've seen the movie version, but it's been like
I saw the movie version
a
with...
really long time ago.
Oh, shoot. She was married to Johnny Depp. What is her name?
Ooh. She's also in Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah, Edward Scissorhands.
She's also in
She's
Pirates
not
of the Caribbean.
I don't
They were
know.
together for a very...
Are you talking about Paradise?
Oh my gosh.
What?
No, not her.
Guys,
they were
what's her
married,
name?
I'm pretty
Keira
sure.
Knightley. Thank
No,
you,
not
Carly.
Keira Knightley.
Keira Knightley was
No.
not married to
She
Johnny
was-
Depp.
she was-
No.
Was she,
Married to Johnny Depp. Winona Ryder.
Oh
not married to
yeah,
Johnny Depp,
thank
I
you. I
believe they
always
were
get those two
married.
confused.
Winona Ryder.
how do you get them confused?
They look exactly the same in my brain.
Who?
What?
I'm serious. I know they're not,
Who?
but Winona Ryder and Keira
Stranger
Knightley.
Things, Winona Ryder,
Right,
plus
yeah.
all the other things that she's been
I
in.
get
but
them
that's just
mixed
the most
up.
recent.
How?
In my brain, they look the
realistically,
same.
I can understand if you were saying that about like Keira Knightley and who plays Ray.
Yeah, her too, but
Daisy Ridley.
Daisy Ridley, yeah. Katie,
But anyway,
your
I
brain.
wanted to tell everybody that Little Women is coming out on Christmas, so we should all be excited and go and see it. And people are talking like Oscar noms for this movie.
Really?
They think that the girls are going to get Oscar nominations.
Where have I
so.
been?
Everybody always says that like
Parenting?
the Academy like season movies always tend to come out later in the year, like especially December time frame, and yeah, so they're thinking that this is gonna get some awards.
Okay,
But I love Saoirse Ronan. So
Yeah.
and obviously Emma Watson.
Who the one girl is directing? Whoever did Lady Bird.
Yeah,
also-
she's also the writer and director of Lady Bird is doing Little Women.
And I can't remember. I can see her face.
like Lady Bird Johnson.
No, it's
like
just,
the movie Lady Bird that
it's
Saoirse was
very
in.
good.
It's so good.
It's really, really
Timothy
good.
Chalamet is also in that. I don't know what it is.
It reminded me a little bit about my relationship with my mom at times, but I didn't want to tell her that because I thought she might get offended. But, like, I mean, she's, like, my BFF, so, like, it's fine. But there were moments in that movie where I was like, that very much reminds me of my relationship with me and my mom. It's about a girl who goes to, like, a Catholic high school. I mean, just really good. Really good.
All relationships have their hills and valleys, if you will. It's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a good
I
movie.
love my mom.
We
But in
know.
high school, we had clashing.
Who didn't?
Yeah, right.
Who didn't?
So, yeah. There's my
Harry
weekly
Potter.
profit.
Should we talk about that?
Sure.
What time is it?
RERERECAP.
Voldemort is back.
What?
Back again.
Mm-hmm.
Baldy's
Yep.
back.
Tell a friend.
Tell a friend.
Hey, Katie, Voldy's back.
Thank you. Oh, am I your friend?
Yeah.
That's kind of you.
Aw,
you're
you're
kind of you to let me
sweet.
come.
You're sick.
You're sweet. So he summons all his death buddies, and he gives one heck of a monologue, which will continue in this one. And Wormtail gets a new hand that obviously will not turn on him later.
Oh, okay.
Voldemort starts naming names in his sad little racist club of people. Some are missing. I mean, I'm just going to be honest. And he gives a big old spiel about everything because, you know, that's what he loves to do. That's everything he's happened to him and how he's been treated. And he's trying to kill this kid for years. And he keeps failing. But he's going to
Maybe if we stopped talking and he just killed him, it would happen.
He's going to prove that he is
Technically, it
stronger
wouldn't, though.
than this 14-year-old kid.
Oh, I guess not. Never mind.
What?
Nothing. Just go. I'll have moments.
So he being Moldy Voldy, uses an unforgivable, which is, you know, unforgivable, which is nothing to him, so he doesn't care. But Harry's never had one done to him. And at last, he has Harry untied. Let the fun begin?
Maybe.
What's
I'm
going to
ready.
happen?
So, Voldemort turns his attention now to Lucius Malfoy.
Is that spelled correctly? Because I
Nope.
think that's Luscious.
Emily Prince. Luscious Malfoy.
After he fired Dobby, he got a great new hairstyle with shampoo in his hair.
In my defense,
Luscious Malfoy. Correct.
it's autocorrect. And his hair is quite luscious. It fits. I'm not changing it, and that's the episode title.
Oh my god.
You're luscious, Malfoy. You're a luscious.
Oh my god.
So, Voldemort calls Lucius his
Luscious.
my slippery friend, and I said, "Oh, how true those words ring out." This guy, even after listening to Seven, and how they're like sitting in the Great Hall with everybody else after the war, even though they were on the other side. You know what I mean? And nobody was paying them any kind of mind. But that's just like the audacity of the Malfoy family. You know what I mean? I'm surprised people didn't kill them in the Great Hall at the end of the war, to be honest with you.
That's not how our side works.
Truth.
I guess so.
Says the Slytherin. Just saying.
Whatever. You
I mean, I
left.
probably would have killed him, so.
Oh my god.
Anyways,
I don't think, honestly, like, let's just stop for a second. I don't
Sure.
legitimately don't think I'd have it in me to do that to someone.
No,
Nope.
me either.
Nope.
Like, that's soul splitting and real, like, non-magic, you know what I mean? Like, that wrecks you. I would assume.
If you're normal.
do you
Just the
mean
thought.
like you
but
couldn't
normal is
fight
relative.
and do that in a war, or you couldn't just like
But
see
here's
someone
the thing, like, think about
in a
all
peaceful
soldiers.
moment
Like,
and go?
I am very grateful to every person that, like, fights for our country. But that's horribly hard for all of them. You know
Well,
what
yeah,
I mean?
of course
That's
it
what I'm
is.
saying. Like, that's hard.
Yeah,
But
But,
not
like,
everybody
but
is
I'm
meant
saying,
to
like,
do that.
correct.
I don't think it would be for me. Think about me. I would be either
that's
laughing
why
or crying
you're
on the
not-
battlefield, like, oh my gosh, or like, you know what I mean? But
And that's okay.
if I'm at Hogwarts and everything is ended and you're saying like
You wanna-
the dust
you would-
had
yeah.
settled
Okay.
and you want to like shoot off a green light curse to Malfoy, Luscious Malfoy,
You also have to think
I
about
wouldn't be
they're
able
not.
to do it.
They're in like different circumstances though.
Well, for sure.
So, also, I love our armed forces.
We appreciate everything they do for us.
So
Agreed.
good.
Luscious locks for Lucius.
You're out of your mind. Anyway,
That's his. He gets a custom-made hair potion every month, and that's what the title of it is. Luscious locks for Lucius.
Oh my god.
headcanon. So Voldemort brings up that even though the Wizarding world believes that Malfoy Sr. has changed his ways when he was, quote, bewitched, he had indeed not changed his ways, and he is even ready to, like, take the lead spot again in Muggle torture, which we find out was him leading the Quidditch World Cup. So we do find out that he was part of that, and Voldy essentially says that his energy would have been better put into trying to find him, his master, Voldemort. And Malfoy Sr. is coming back, of course, with like some slippery comment, and he's like, "My lord, I was constantly on the alert," came Lucius Malfoy's voice swiftly from beneath the hood. "Had there been any sign from you, any whisper of your whereabouts, I would have been at your side immediately. Nothing could have prevented me." And then Voldemort goes to say, "And yet you ran from my mark when a faithful Death Eater sent it into the sky last summer," said Voldemort lazily. Lazily, I like that. And Mr. Malfoy stopped talking abruptly. "Yes, I know all about that, Lucius. You have disappointed me. I expect more faithful service in the future."
So
That's interesting, though, that he ran.
well, because he's scared of him. I think too, like, this right here is the start of Voldemort's, like, how Voldemort treats him very differently this war than last. So, like, and maybe Lucius knew that would happen, and that's why he was like, I don't, like, I'm running from it.
Here's the thing with the Malfoys. Yes, they do a lot of really horrible things, but I don't think that they are as horrible as the rest of the Death Eaters are.
I can see where you're coming from.
They are weak sauce and let things happen,
I think they're
and they
they're
don't
one of the-
physically do the things themselves.
They
They're one
let
of the
their money
people that
talk.
fade
They
in
like
the background.
the Muggle torture. They like being holier than thou and all of that. But when it comes down to it, who is he actually murdering? Who, you know what I mean?
I don't know.
I don't know what he did previous war, but for this, I feel like he is.
But
as
think-
far as the horribleness goes, yes, he is horrible, but I feel like he's lower on that.
Do you think
scale
that
than
having a
others.
kid change? I mean,
I
I
was
guess he had a
wondering
kid
that
the
too.
first time around, but like this time around, he's older and he's got more at stake.
And
being-
Narcissa's not into it like he is. She lets things happen, yes, and that is absolutely
But
wrong.
I think they
but
both are like
they're both passive about it. I'm not that, but what I'm saying is
passive
they're
about
not
what? Do you mean?
letting things happen. Like things are happening. Like, sure, that guy Avery or over there or whatever is torturing people, but like I don't know, like and killing people maybe, but like how much are the Malfoys actually doing of the
I think
killing
that
and
the
things?
Malfoys help make things happen, even though they may not be the ones doing it.
Right, that's
They
what I'm
are.
saying.
They are definitely helping in other ways.
They have a
Yeah.
lot
So
of
it's
money
kind
and
of-
money talks.
That's what I'm saying. What are we arguing
They
about?
have a lot of money. But I guess what I'm
They're still
I mean,
guilty
I'm not
for it.
arguing. I'm just
Nobody
saying
said they weren't.
I don't think that I would say that they are less evil, because even though they're not out physically doing something that Avery maybe did or McNair did or whatever, they are still instigating it and making sure it can happen in the background. Like, they are offering up their home to make sure that Voldemort has a safe place to go to. Like, that is still hugely...
They're doing it, but I feel like they're doing it for different reasons this time around. He's afraid of him. He's not necessarily like working so much with him anymore. He's working. Do you get what I'm
sure.
saying?
Yeah.
I mean,
He's not at the side anymore. He's
not
high-
as into it.
He's not as into it. He's doing it, I feel like, out of sheer necessity for him to stay high up where he's at. Like, it's not the same as before. Like, Voldemort's like not into him anymore. He sees him as weak sauce. He's like not doing these
He
things.
clearly takes advantage of Lucius at this point going forward. Every time Voldemort does.
Yeah, he's like not important to him anymore. He's like
He's a bad word. He's his...
yeah, kind of like,
you know?
like they're not really. Not that Voldemort has people like close to him, but it's not like a Bellatrix thing with like a what am I trying to say? Like his lieutenant or something like that. You know what I mean?
He's not as high up on the totem pole as he was for the first war. He's more of like a, hey,
Lower
I'm going to
level.
take advantage of you and just use you for what I know you can give to me.
Right.
But you are not important to me, really.
And I wonder if that's why he's like not out doing killing and things like that.
Possibly.
Well, I don't know that he's not. I guess I should say that.
But I mean, if you do think about it, he was saying like in what 3 paragraphs ago or something about how he's like, it's been 13 years and I want 13 years payback. So like, you Luscious Malfoy were doing all of these things and saying all of these things the first time around, and then for 13 years you're nowhere to be found and you're running for my mark. So
Yeah.
like,
He did,
now
like-
this is what I'm gonna make you do. Dance monkey dance.
Pretty much.
right.
But I still think that he believes in all of that stuff, and he's just has always been the type of person that because he has money, he's like, I'll have all of these other people do it
He's
for
not
me.
the kind of guy that gets his hands dirty.
Correct.
Other people do it for him.
Correct.
That's what I was trying to get at.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
All right, that was a long walk around.
It's okay.
You got there.
Awesome. So I said I think that he ran because he thought that Voldy was officially back, and he thought that he was going to be tortured and or killed because of his lack of service in trying to find Voldemort. Lucius says thank you in a gross, you are a merciful my lord, thank you kind of way. And now Voldy moves on. So he continues to move around the circle and he comes to an empty space. The Lestrange's space.
Hold on, can I just say I like when you are quoted Lucius talking, he's like, had to put any sign. I could hear him saying it.
What's his name?
Jason Isaacs.
Jason Isaacs.
Any sign.
Who? Okay, say they recast. Who would you put for Luscious? Because I feel like Jason Isaacs is
Did
just
such a good
so
job.
good.
He's also a very attractive man, you know?
I agree.
He's literally perfect.
I almost said he's a good-looking pooch, and I don't know why I wanted to say
Because
that.
there's a good-looking pooch in the room.
Oh,
He couldn't be recast.
I mean, but you have to. I know it's hard.
Nobody. Don't do it.
Caitlin in the chat said maybe adult Tom Felton.
Yeah.
Perfect. He would do it really good.
He needs to wash his hair first.
shave
Make
it and
his
wear
hair
a
a little
wig.
bit more luscious. For luscious.
That's fine. So the Lestranges were in Azkaban because they stood firm that they were followers of Voldemort. And Voldy says that when Azkaban is broken into and they are free, they will be honored beyond their dreams. And I said, like with making a baby. Honestly, I'll say this, and I don't want to get into it, but I have to say, after rereading 7 in the forest again or something like this, whatever, after Harry comes back from King's Cross, and the way that Bellatrix is talking to Voldemort, I feel like, yeah.
I remember
They
you
made a
texting us
baby.
about that.
It says as if she was speaking to a lover.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So if you listen to our Cursed Child episode, I changed my mind.
And she's allowed to do that because that's a woman, and that's their prerogative.
So this is what I really enjoy, because if reading this and reading the end of this book, like the very last part, I like the way that these points connect. So Voldemort goes into his plans for the future, and in an upcoming chapter, we know that Dumbledore moves to prevent certain measures that are taken by Voldy. And I said alas because Fudge sucks. So, Voldemort first says the Dementors are going to join them, and they are the Death Eaters' quote natural allies,
Which is true.
which is a sickening thought. Second, recalling the Giants. Recalling, so we know that they were used in the First War, who have been banished. We know that this happens. Third, all the devoted servants or supporters of the First War and an army of creatures whom all fear.
Is that the Inferi? Is that how you say that? You think?
Inferi,
Inferi is good.
acromantulas,
Acromantulas, yeah.
Sarah's.
manticores.
Hungry Tiffany's.
Trolls. Because weren't there some trolls in the
I think so.
Trolls in the dungeon.
Trolls being mentioned.
I don't know. That's horrible. Sorry, that was a bad rendition.
So there is an article on. Sorry, my fan keeps making noises, but aminoapps.com. I don't know. It's called Voldemort's Army Magical Creatures. And it says, you know who was a talented man, one who was once known as Tom Riddle and later took the name of Voldemort. People feared him enough and don't speak his name. So what kind of creature would choose to follow such a man? Tom used magical creatures in both wars, but it was the second one that we got more knowledge about how he turned these creatures to his side. So in this blog, this person goes into the different creatures that Voldemort called back. So giants aided Voldemort during the Second Wizarding War. They were an endangered magical species near extinction because of their violent nature, and then they were like banished because of wizards. And there's only a few known tribes left, and they are usually led by the strongest giant called the Gurg. And when rereading this and reading about how the Gurg changed after Hagrid and Madame Maxime met with the OG Gurg in the mountains, and then there was like a fight that broke out, and then the next day they walked in and
no support.
that Gurg was, its head was on a spike.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, and the other one changed, and then they saw the Death Eaters coming to talk to them, and obviously they were offering them more than what the good side, the light side. So Voldemort wanted the giants in his ranks because they have raw strength, and their skin is resistant to most magical attacks. And it is often wondered if giants have stronger skin than dragons.
Ooh,
Whoa.
So Dementors was are other creatures that are wanted for obvious reasons. I mean, they're probably offering them like all the souls you want. You know what I mean? Like free reign, obviously, because they're going around anyway. And I think we get a small taste of that in 5 when those two are wandering around in Little Whinging.
Yep.
Yeah.
Little Whinging.
So their ability to remove happiness is not the only thing, as they can also suck out a human soul, giving the Dementor's kiss, which basically leaves the person in like a permanent vegetative state. Yeah. And then it pulls that quote that I just read, that they were the natural allies. Werewolves were also another creature that Voldemort wanted to use. Most werewolves don't choose this life, but they are oppressed by the views of the wizarding world. They are considered dangerous and unpredictable and unworthy of being treated as a normal human being.
Rude.
So, obviously, the Death Eaters are going to be like, yo, we can give you, like, a normal life. Like, come be accepted. When, first of all, Voldemort doesn't like you.
Yeah, you're a half-breed.
Correct.
So is words.
What?
He is as well. Voldemort.
I know. And that's the thing that really gets me.
Yep.
It just...
Well, same with Umbridge.
Right.
Can we compare to Hitler really quick? Because Hitler was brown-haired and all of that, but he loved those blonde, blue-eyed, right? Am I correct in saying that?
Yep.
It reminds me of that. Like, you hold up high what you are not, and you say this is good, but you are still not that.
Same thing.
So with a large amount of oppression and discrimination, it is no wonder that most of the werewolves decided to find some sort of revenge or had become desperate to find a way to get a better life. Wizards and witches like Dolores Umbridge made it impossible for werewolves to even live something close to a normal life while in human form. But under the rule of Voldemort, there would be more of a chance for things to change. And then it says some other creatures like Inferi, which are the bodies of the dead that are enchanted by magic. Acromantulas join the final battle. But honestly, when you read that, you don't really know what side they're on.
They're just kind of like
They're just kind of there.
everywhere.
They're like, yo,
They'll kill whatever.
this is food. Right.
Yeah.
But I have
I
to...
kind of feel like Dementors would do that too, honestly.
Yeah. I feel like they would. So Hagrid tries to save some of those spiders because of his Aragog buddy.
R.I.P.
But
Aragog.
the interesting thing about Voldemort is that he doesn't understand that the little guy is strong too. The house elves wreak havoc during the final battle, as we know. They're coming out there with cleavers and they're hacking.
Yeah.
I think that's something that a lot of people do, like Voldemort does it, and a lot of villains overlook certain things because they're like, oh, they're not important. I can overlook that. You know what I mean?
agree.
And then that's their downfall.
Buckbeak joined the final battle. I want to say that the Thestrals were there, but I'm not 100 on that.
Only some could see them.
Well, a lot of
Sarah?
them could see him that night.
Right.
Maybe they had
Sad
to process
tweet.
it, Tiffany.
Like, can you imagine if you went to the house elves? Your army would be unstoppable. They have magic that's insane.
Yeah.
Like,
Do you
you don't
think
even
that they
think
would've-
about that for Malfoy Manor because you're so much of a lesser creature. Nah, he got you.
Do you
Agree.
think they would have actually fought with him?
No.
I think that if some of them were more like Creature, yes. Because Creature chose to support who was good to him, which is why he turned his back on Sirius and then in the end was on Harry and Ron and Hermione's side because they showed love for Regulus.
I guess I think it would depend on.
do that.
I think it would depend on the house elf family probs.
That,
You know?
yeah, because like
Do
how
we
well you're
still
treated.
believe that there's one elf per house? How does a new house get a house elf? Do they buy them?
I feel like they're just...
I feel like they do buy them.
Where do you...
Probably.
Where? They're not...
Nocturne Alley.
Some black
I don't know.
market, you know?
But it's honestly,
I mean,
it's
they
not
probably- they probably
really.
go to Home
necessarily,
Goods.
Like,
Oh my god.
I don't
Elf
know.
goods.
The house. No, hold on. Isn't there?
I don't think that they're wild.
There's a house elf There's a house elf like placement something in
In
Carket
Carket
Market
Market.
at Universal.
So is it like a... You're assigned?
Well, because think about it. Like,
but you
say,
probably have to pay.
say your Aunt
yeah.
Gertie or someone's Aunt Gertie who has no family left has her little house elf and she passes away. And then where's little Gertie's house elf going to go?
To the family.
I'm saying, what if she has no family left?
Gertie Jr. is free.
I guess you go back to Carket Market.
Yeah, I don't really know.
Get a new fam.
What's
Join
her
a
name?
fam.
I'm saying, how does the new fam get one?
Probably do that thing.
When they say Accio house elf,
I don't think that works.
No,
I
I,
don't
think
think
you
that
have
would
to
work
pay.
All right, well, let's just keep talking about death buddies because that's a better topic.
I like
they're
So-
deceased snackers.
So Voldemort keeps walking, and he couldn't say anything, or he wouldn't say anything to some of them, but would stop at others. And here is where I say that Jo is brilliant because she's been introducing us to these characters from Jump, really. So first we've got McNair,
From Rebirth.
who was what?
Not from Jump, from Rebirth.
Oh my god.
No,
No,
she's talking
before
about before that.
Rebirth, like from the beginning of the
McNair's
movies.
book 3.
McNair is
From the
from
beginning
Prisoner
of
Azkaban.
time, we were introduced to McNair. He was gonna execute Buckbeak.
What if that was the whole episode? We were just announcer voices.
I don't know if I'd be able to do it.
All right, so yes, McNair was supposed to execute Buckbeak, but was at the castle to do the deed in Prisoner of Azkaban. So we've already met him, but she's making that connection for us, like, oh hey, bad guy in Prisoner, he was a Death Eater. We also have Crabbe and Goyle, who are parents to Crabbe and Goyle, who we figured were a part of this because they're BFFs with Malfoy, after all. Not has a son in Slytherin with Malfoy right now. Theodore Knott is another Slytherin.
That's who their cat's named after, because...
No! Get out of here!
Theodore Lupin.
Except his name is not
Edward
Theodore.
Lupin.
Whatever. Teddy Lupin.
Tedward?
Tedward. That's what we call him. And then he'd reached the largest gap of all, and he stood surveying it with his blank red eyes as though he could see people standing there. And here we have 6 missing Death Eaters. 3 dead in my service. 1 too cowardly to return. He will pay. I'm assuming that is Karkaroff. 1 who I believe has left me forever.
I believe.
He will be killed, of course.
False.
And 1 who remains my most faithful servant and who has already re-entered my service.
Who could it be?
It's me.
So 3 dead. 3 dead in my service. I looked up who those were. And the interwebs told me the first one would be Regulus Black. The second one would be Evan Rosier. And the third would be Wilkes.
Okay, but why is it Regulus?
Because he was still a Death Eater. I don't think
Yeah,
he
but
defected.
he had Regulus killed. Or he killed him himself. We
But
don't know.
he never told anybody about that, so he would have to act as if he was
That
still a
is
Death Eater.
so... You are a loser, Voldemort. God.
I
You know what?
mean,
I
you're
heard he
not
listens,
wrong.
so he's going to hear you.
Well, hear this.
So, Alistair Moody, we actually... Well, hold on here. Yeah, Alistair Moody kills Rosier.
Rosier.
And this is like...
How, I wonder.
Who in
so I-
Crimes is it the girl?
Yeah,
Okay.
What is her
She's
first
a
name?
lady.
I can't remember. So it says after Lord Voldemort returns in June of 95, this is on Reddit, by the way.
Okay.
He summons his Death Eaters and notes that 6 are missing. 3 dead, 1 too cowardly to return, 1 who Voldemort believes has left him forever, 1 who remains Voldemort's most faithful servant who has already re-entered his service, is at Hogwarts, and it was through his efforts that Harry Potter arrived there that night.
So, this is just his inner circle.
Correct.
Okay, so because there's right, we said there's like 30 people there, so this is his inner circle. So Regulus got really high up for being such a young person.
Yeah, but he's also black. You know what I mean?
But still, I mean, I
Like,
wonder what
think,
he
like,
was doing.
Malfoy, really, in Half-Blood is pretty much in the inner circle, and he's still at Hogwarts.
I
you know?
think a big part of it is
your name.
He wants a lot of those pure blood, like
Yep.
he's got
Pure
the
blood
Malfoys, he's got the
families,
blacks, you know what I mean?
Rosiers,
The Rosiers.
Crab,
Yeah.
Goyle.
Also, if you get them younger, you
part of the
can
Secret
manipulate.
28.
I don't know. I'm just
I
naming
think they
names.
might be.
Are you looking it up?
No, I'm looking up something else.
So people on here were saying I was unsure about Regulus since Voldemort killed him himself when Regulus turned against him.
Yeah.
But people said Regulus was killed technically by the Inferi in the cave after stealing the locket. Nobody knew what happened to Regulus except Creature. Voldemort just kind of left him. So
I think part of that would be he doesn't want. Maybe people don't know how in depth he is with those Horcruxes. He doesn't want to know how close someone got to it, and he doesn't want to admit any weakness. So why would he just say like he was a great loyal follower and he was killed essentially in the line of action?
Oh, hey,
Right.
Katie, Pottermore has the ultimate Remus Lupin quiz up in there. Yeah.
You'll fail.
We'll ace it.
So during the First Wizarding War, the Death Eaters were fiercely pursued by Aurors. Evan Rosier was eventually caught by Alistair Moody around the same time as one of his comrades, Wilkes. The two resisted arrest, Rosier even blasting a significant part of Moody's nose off during their duel. Moody defeated and killed Evan. A year later, Igor Karkaroff, while selling out his comrades to the Council of Magical Law in exchange for his own freedom, named Evan but was informed of his death, making his naming of Rosier worthless. According to Karkaroff, Evan was among Voldemort's important supporters.
Crabbe is not part of the Secret 28.
But
Thank
Goyle is.
you.
No.
Here, I have another article.
No.
No, ma'am. Gaunt and Greengrass are the G's. There's also Abbott, Avery, Black, of course, Bulstrode, which I forgot about. Burke, Carroll, Crouch, Folly, which no members of this pure blood family are mentioned in the Potter series, so that must be a... I wonder when she'll tie that in, if she will. Flint, Gaunt, Greengrasses.
Oh, Marcus
Interesting.
Flint's pureblood.
I assume.
Device
Lestrange, Longbottom, Macmillan, Malfoy, Knott, Ollivander, Parkinson, Pruitt, Rosier, Rowell, Sluin, Shacklebolt, Shafiq. There's nothing in Potter with that. Slughorn, Travers, Weasley, Yaxley.
Well, we've discussed that Potter's not. They said it because they were too muggle.
It says,
But they should be.
It
on
says-
this. Yeah.
Potter's common muggle surname. Harry's family didn't make the list according to Rowling because the anonymous compiler that supposedly definitive list of pure blood suspected that they had sprung from what he considered to be tainted blood. That's
So Wilkes was a Death Eater during the First War with Voldemort and was killed around the same time as Evan Rosier, according to Sirius Black. Wilkes was possibly killed during the same fight in which Rosier blew off part of Moody's nose.
Do you think we're finding this out in 5 when Harry talks to Sirius?
It said Goblet.
It said Goblet?
On Pottermore, it's on that Death Eater, like the Lord. It's a guide to Lord Voldemort's Death Eaters, which I talked about in the last episode. Wilkes is on here, and it's a part of a gang of Slytherin students who are friends with Severus Snape, and then he was killed by Aurors before Voldemort fell. So that's what it's got to say about him on that article.
Chapter 27. They learn I guess we already talked about this. It's whenever they meet with him in the cave. And he's like kind of naming names. He's like, oh, Wilkes and Rosier, they were both killed.
Okay.
Okay, so let's break down this last little thing he says.
Sure.
No.
1, 2, cowardly, most faithful, and left forever. So I found an article on our good old friend Stack Exchange.
Dude, Stack Exchange for the win.
It's just good. So in the graveyard scene in Goblet of Fire, Voldemort looks around at the Death Eaters and lectures the ones who disappointed and failed him. And when he reaches a wide gap, he says 3 of them are dead, 1 too scared to return, 1 forever left, and 1 is his most loyal. Who are the 3 Death Eaters he is talking about?
Y'all 3, because I'm not a Death Eater.
Karkaroff.
I'm not no dead snacker.
Karkaroff
Deceased. Sorry.
would be the cowardly Death Eater, as he gave up a lot of Death Eaters to escape Azkaban. Also kind of a betrayal. But not only that, he ran away as soon as the Dark Mark burned. Crouch Jr., obviously, we know is the loyal one, as he returned and found his master when none of the other Death Eaters did, other than Pettigrew, who Voldemort doesn't seem to count. And Snape would be the betraying, as he swapped sides and hid even from Azkaban and is now hiding from Voldemort by not showing in the graveyard. After Goblet of Fire, when Snape returned to Voldemort, he explained his betrayals as spying for Voldemort and gave him information as proof. This is why Voldemort did not kill him. The ultimate show of his loyalty was when he revealed the date and time of Harry Potter's relocation. You know, Karkaroff coward, Snape left forever, Crouch most faithful. Basically. However, at this moment in time, when we read this for the first time, if you can remember, and he said he is at Hogwarts, that faithful servant, and it was through his efforts that our young friend arrived here tonight. Who did you think it was?
Snape!
Yeah.
Snape.
Yes.
For sure.
Severus
1,000%.
Snape.
To be honest with you, probably.
Dumbledore.
Well, when I first thought about it, I don't think I thought that much, but like rereading, I was like, oh, that's so Severus. That sly dog.
Yeah, it's like not knowing, like, the outcome.
right.
That's
Yeah.
the first
Like,
person
before
your mind
7
goes
came
to.
out.
Yeah, because that's who she tells you is the bad guy.
Basically,
When you
she
see the
paints that
memories,
picture.
oh, he was a Death Eater. Now you're like, no, he never turned good.
What?
The memories and the pensieve.
Yeah. So I said, hold the phone.
He never
Is it
turned-
Snape?
What?
I mean, we know it's not, but did anyone else think that when you read it the first time? Because I sure did.
I think I did.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I knew it.
Oh yeah,
I knew it.
I fell
It's
for all
Snape.
her tricks.
Me
I
too.
will not lie.
Yeah.
I fell
Me too.
for every trick.
I went through every single lens she wanted me to.
Correct.
I mean, I can just still remember like all of the I wouldn't say propaganda, like ads and stuff for the last book, and they're like, Snape, is he good? Is he evil?
Yeah.
What side is he on?
Oh my
my
gosh,
God.
that was
No one
like
knew.
You
their
guys, I
favorite.
remember
Big
people being
big
like,
debate.
"No, Snape's a good guy." He was asking, or Dumbledore was asking him to like kill him, and I was like, "No, he murdered Dumbledore." I was so not for Snape being on the good side. I was like, I literally had verbal spats with people.
Vinny,
about it.
Mystery Novel 101, the villain is always the new character.
True.
Cool. Well, I'm going to continue on from that quote.
Do you want me to read it again?
Yeah.
He's at Hogwarts, that faithful servant, and it was through his efforts that our young friend arrived here tonight. Today's show is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering our listeners a free audiobook with a 30-day trial membership. Just go to audibletrial.com/swishflickcast and browse all of the awesome audio titles, aka Harry Potter books galore.
For the win.
Go get them.
Yes.
Right now. Download Sorcerer's Stone as your freebie. It's the bomb.com.
.net.
Tiffany and I both now are on the Audible train.
Listen.
Jim
Literally.
Dale.
What the?
Listen
Listen. No, honestly.
to some audiobooks.
I listen when I'm in the shower because that's obviously some downtime where I could.
You can
use
have Alexa
some
pick up where
learning.
you left off. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
So I do that, and then I listen in my car, and then I also listen during my planning period at work, and that's pretty much it. 'Cause
I
that's
always
the only time I
listen in
have
the
to
car.
listen. But I'm listening to 5 currently. I hate Dolores, and she makes me want to punch things like
Yeah.
her face. So.
Yeah.
Go get you some Audible. Also, I enjoy this more listening to Jim Dale than when I first listened to him. Like it's kind
like
of it's
it.
kind of weird when you hear somebody else like reading and doing voices that you've only done in your head for these books. But now I'm very much on board, and I have to say, I know this is going to sound really weird. I love the way he does Fred and George's voices.
Yes.
I don't know. He just sounds really good.
Yeah. But anyway, when you sign up using our little link, you get a free audiobook. You can pick whatever book you want.
Doesn't have to be Harry Potter.
Doesn't have to be Harry Potter.
should
That's
be.
just obviously what
Just
we
saying,
recommend.
those Potter audiobooks are not the cheapest of things.
Yeah, but it's
so
only-
use your free book.
Right, yeah. Isn't it like $10 a month, right, for Audible? And you get an audiobook every month, so $10. It's awesome.
I have a lot of credits, and Marty's
Um,
like, you should probably listen to a lot more books.
But
also,
anyway-
hold on. Star Wars books have sound effects.
That's
Oh yeah,
true.
I've heard that
And-
those are really good.
And a lot of people now are doing on Audible, like, because I know like the Dooku one is like a whole thing where they have like a cast
it's not
of
even
people.
called like an audiobook. It's called like a.
It's almost like a performance where
Yeah,
like it's
it's
different
like a
people,
show.
like a couple of people, like that's like a newer thing I think they're trying to do because there's a couple of them that I've heard of where it's like a cast of people reading these storylines and stuff, you know.
Let me
So
see what it says. It just says like it's a narrated like by a full cast. So there's literally like different
different
person
people
for each
nice.
like character. Yeah. I feel like somebody called it something other than like an audiobook, and it was some really cool name for what it is because it's literally like
those old days.
it's like it's like the old days of radio.
that's what it makes me think
It's
of.
like a show for your ears. It's crazy.
But anyway, if you want to download your free audiobook, just go to audibletrial.com/swishflickcast.
and get your ears listening.
And it can be any Audible book from their massive audio program library.
Why did you capitalize the VO in Voldemort?
I didn't mean to.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
Voldemort.
Voldemort. Okay, so my section is like the whole monologue almost.
Babe,
So here we go.
give it to me.
Voldemort, Voldemort, oh, Voldemort.
Ooh, Katie has the longest section. Hers is like a page and a half.
Get ready for it. So I'm gonna start right off where Meg left off. So
Are you?
yeah,
I would hope so.
No, like quote to quote, literally quote to quote.
I don't know what Meg said last, if I'm completely honest right now.
She said that where is it?
Faithful servant,
Yeah.
Hogwarts, what?
And that's why their young friend is here tonight. Yes, said Voldemort, a grin curling his lipless mouth.
Lipless.
It's because he didn't use a full bone from his dad. He just used
True,
ashes.
you know, you can only get so many things. As the eyes of the circle flashed in Harry's direction, Harry Potter has kindly joined us for my rebirthing party. One might go as far as to call him my guest of honor.
That's a horrible
Yeah.
title for this party.
Happy rebirthing to you. So let me hear Luscious Malfoy's voice.
That's gonna be the new thing.
Don't you worry. He's going to go to Azkaban soon.
I hate everything. What design are you gonna do?
We'll come up with something.
And he says that they crave to know how Voldemort achieved this miracle, how he managed to return to them and, you know, have a body. So Voldemort's like, oh, what a story it is. It begins and ends with Harry. And he, through this entire monologue, is like the ultimate showman. It's all a performance. It's all just a big show and like a way of him creating like more fear for his deceased snackers. So he walks lazily over to stand by Harry so that everybody has to look at the two of them. So here comes his recap. So they all call Harry his downfall. And whenever Voldemort looks at Harry, his scar burns so bad he wants to scream in agony. This poor kid. So they all know the night he lost his powers and his body, he tried to kill Harry. His mom tried to save him. It left up protection. And he actually admits to not foreseeing that, which I think is kind of surprising for Voldemort.
He admitted a fault.
He did. And he's like, you know, I couldn't touch Harry. But then he puts his finger real close to Harry's cheek. And almost touches him.
I can touch you now.
I can't. I wish you guys could see her because she has a Halloween kitty cat pumpkin scarf tied around her head.
You look
Don't
like
I
you're
look
going to go all
cool?
Rambo.
You do look like Rambo a little bit.
I'm a biker now.
All right.
I'm gonna get a motorcycle.
My little fleet.
So he does touch Harry's cheek, and the instant he touches him, Harry thinks his head is just going to burst with pain. So, a quote from the book. I miscalculated, my friends, I admit it. My curse was deflected by the woman's foolish sacrifice, and it rebounded upon myself. Ah, pain beyond pain, my friends. Nothing could have prepared me for it. I was ripped from my body. I was less than spirit, less than the meanest ghost, but still I was alive. What I was, even I do not know. I, who have gone further than anybody along the path that leads to immortality. You know my goal, to conquer death. And now I was tested, and it appeared that one or more of my experiments had worked.
I'm sorry, I have the hiccups. I really apologize. They hurt.
No, I'm talking louder because that's Horcruxes.
Yeah.
Right there. It worked, obviously, because he didn't die.
Right.
For I had not been killed, though the curse should have done it.
Can he say, like, P's and M's with no lips?
What? Why? Well, he says Potter.
That's not where I thought you were going with that. Like, he still has a mouth. He can close it. He just doesnn't have lips.
So, he is now, or was now, this powerless, weakest creature alive. So think of what that would feel like to Voldemort. Literally
baby
his worst fear. So he couldn't help himself.
It's worse. His worse.
I don't know where she's going with this.
I don't either. Speak up, Rainbow.
I was gonna say, is him being a baby worse than not having any lips?
Jeez, man.
He.
It's a figure of speech. The man has lips. He doesn't have a nose.
It said lipless.
It said
said
lipless,
lipless.
Tiffany.
Literally lipless.
But I think
Literally.
it literally means that he looks like
He's got super thin lips.
He's got snake face. So he couldn't help himself. Anything that could have helped him, he would have needed a wand. And obviously, he's literally like less than nothing. So, and I don't think he had his wand. So he had no choice. So he forced himself sleeplessly, endlessly, second by second to exist. He settled in a forest far away, and he waited because surely one of his faithful Death Eaters would try to find him, right?
if you listen to
I would
Kimmy
think.
Schmidt, is that her name?
Yeah.
You can do anything for 10 seconds.
That's also what Autumn says
Really?
in 21 Day Fix.
Yeah.
What did she
She
do for
says
10
60
seconds?
Oh, 60
seconds.
seconds.
Well, she was in a bunker for like however many years,
Oh,
so
I
she had to
remember
crank
that.
it. And she's like, you could do anything for 10 seconds, so she'd count 10 seconds over and over again.
I used to watch that show.
I only
funny.
watched like the first couple of seasons. It was funny.
And Voldemort says, but I waited in vain. And then we have that shiver run around the circle again. Everyone's like, oh no. So he had one power left. He could still possess the bodies of others. So he didn't go too close to humans because the Aurors were still looking for him. So he would use animals, mostly snakes. Big surprise. But their bodies weren't very good for performing magic. And he obviously, shortened their lives. So then we hear how he stumbled upon Quirrell. He never names him, but obviously we know who he's talking about.
Right.
So he was a young, foolish, gullible wizard, and he seemed to be the very chance that Voldemort was dreaming of. He taught at Dumbledore's school, he was easy to bend to his will, but nope, couldn't steal the stone, and once again, Harry Potter thwarted him.
I wonder what happened. Excuse me.
Are you
So
Winky?
Yes.
Yes.
I wonder what happened in Quirrell's life that... I don't know.
That he would succumb to that, you know?
Yeah.
Just be like, yes, I want all the power.
Yeah, because it's not like it's Tom Riddle talking to him, right? You know?
Yeah.
So this handsome... Excuse me. God, I can't stop. This handsome guy that's like silky with the words
Right.
and stuff.
Which
It's
you
like,
could see.
Was he talking to him as like a snake?
Or was it just like a voice that existed, you know? I don't know.
Like, I really would love to know how that went down.
Yeah, that's a really good thought.
Excuse me.
So he went back to that same forest after Harry defeated him year one. He said that may have been his darkest hour. He'd pretty much given up hope that any of his Death Eaters cared.
That, after missing the Sorcerer's Stone,
Yeah.
was his darkest. Not even after he was destroyed on Halloween.
I think
Pretty
probably
intense.
because now he's like, well, what are the chances that another wizard's going to stumble in here? And clearly my
Yeah.
Death Eaters aren't coming.
Right.
So,
He felt like that was his one chance and it was over.
yeah.
One shot.
But then...
He's not going to throw away his shot.
Your hair, Sarah.
Wormtail, you rat. He found Voldy with the help of other rats because they told him...
What rats do, man?
They told him that a place deep in an Albanian forest they all avoided because small animals like themselves met their deaths by a dark shadow that possessed them. Question: when
Yeah.
you're an animagus, can you fully communicate with other animals of your kind?
I think so.
Yeah.
Super cool.
I know I think I've said this a million times, and it reminds me of Fruits Baskets.
Oh yeah, you have said that. I need to become an animagus so I can talk to other cats.
You told
What
me
if
you
you
would become
didn't
a dog.
turn into a cat?
But I need to be a cat.
But I feel like animals have their own kind of language.
wants to be a cat.
Anyway.
Yeah.
It's a cat.
It's the only cat who
knows where it's at.
So Wormtail still almost screwed it all up because he's
Wormtail.
He's Wormtail. He stopped at an inn for food, and who did he meet? Bertha Jorkins.
Worst mistake of her life.
R.I.P.
So this could have
She
been.
seems like a not nice person, though, if I'm being honest.
I agree.
She deserved that.
God.
No, for real, but she didn't seem. I don't know. So that could have been the end, but Wormtail.
I mean, it is for her.
Yeah. Wormtail overpowered her and brought her to Voldemort, and he said, Bertha Jorkins, who might have ruined all, proved instead to be a gift beyond my wildest dreams. So she was a mine of information. She told Voldemort about the Triwizard Tournament. She told him she knew of a faithful Death Eater who would be only too willing to help. And at this point, we still don't know who that is, because we don't have all the information on what Bertha knew and like how that whole Crouch cover up, which we'll
See,
get to.
that's the part that confuses me. Like, what did she know about
She knew a lot.
Barty Crouch Jr.?
She knew a lot.
About
which
Junior?
Did she just?
She seems like the type to snoop.
Oh,
well,
yeah.
that's what I was saying. Did she only know all this information because she was Snoopy?
Well, I think she accidentally stumbled upon and then snooped some more, you know?
And then Crouch Sr. used like crazy powerful memory charms on her. And that's why Voldemort had to use something even worse and like stronger to break that memory charm. And that's what led to her just being like, I mean, she was destroyed beyond repair.
Yeah.
She went to the Crouch's house to get his signature and heard Winky talking to Junior. That's right.
Honestly, like, I don't think even if her brains wouldn't have been I don't think he would have kept her alive.
Oh, no
anyway.
way. No
No,
way.
I don't
No
think
way.
so. That's
I
just
think
what he
Nagini was
saying.
hungry. Can she eat? So, like, we know that he used that death to make her Horcrux. Could she eat that person?
Well, she did.
I don't know. But do you know what I find interesting?
Tell me, please.
Is that he was strong enough to make a Horcrux then.
Clearly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Where there's a will, there's a way.
He wasn't reborn yet.
I mean, we saw him cast Avada Kedavra on Frank.
Or did he do it? No.
He clearly
No.
has
Did he do
powers
it after
still.
all of this mess?
Didn't he have Wormtail killed?
No,
Frank?
he has to. I
He
mean,
has
how?
to have done it to make his own Horcrux.
No, but Frank.
Could he do it later?
No, he killed.
He killed Frank.
Yeah, because it came from the chair.
Yeah.
But
Do
at
you know
that
what I'm
point, he was
saying?
already like in whatever form he was. Like this is post whatever, not a ghost, not a whatever.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying is, like, did he make Bertha a Horcrux right then? Or did he do that after Harry escapes
No.
back to Hogwarts and all of that?
No, I
I
think
don't get how he
Nagini-
would have done it.
What I'm saying is, I think that he is in that like humanoid form, so he's a little bit more powerful, having that whatever form he was in. Do you get what I'm saying?
He never lost his powers. He just lost his body.
But now he has a body because of there are several ways. You know what I mean?
It's just weird to think
Yeah.
Actually, he did lose his powers because he could only possess things. But then when he had the body, he could cast magic again.
So then he couldn't have.
Didn't.
No, I'm saying he's in that humanoid form. So he's not in that. Hey, do you remember how we've talked about like what he was before he went into the pot and came out a whole man?
He was that weird baby.
So like he was, yeah. So like he was no longer that like I was less than a ghost, less than a whatever. He wasn't really anything. He was just kind of possessing things. Well, he possessed or became the humanoidish thing, and that's when he.
Oh, God, yeah. I try not
Yeah.
to think about that.
Yeah.
That's a conversation we probably should have.
Yeah.
So, we think that in order for Voldemort to be that baby thing, he actually possessed someone's baby.
Oh, possessed. Oh, yeah.
Oh. No, yeah, we did talk about that
We've
on
talked
here
about
before.
Yeah, we did talk about it.
It is
Yeah.
vomit worthy. I hate it. It makes me sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Like,
horrendous.
probably out of everything in these books, like, that makes me the sickest.
I don't think that's not my headcanon personally.
How do you
No,
think
but
he
I
got
think
that
that
form?
like he.
It's magic. It's he says how he does it.
It's
Say it
like
again,
a
read it for
spell,
me.
isn't it?
So my last point is Wormtail is able to follow instructions from Voldemort to create a rudimentary weak body of his own, one he could inhabit while he was waiting for the ingredients for his true rebirth. So it was a spell or two of his own invention, a little help from Nagini, a potion concocted from unicorn blood, and the snake venom Nagini provided. And that returned him to an almost human form, and then he was strong enough to travel.
But anyways, whatever that is
Right.
post him
Gotcha.
being like a ghosty with trying to possess things. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So he had a little oomph in him to be
Right.
able to perform the magic to make a Horcrux and to kill Frank.
Okay, but think about how strong he is in that state.
I mean,
to
he's
make
not,
a
he's not a
Horcrux.
weak.
No, I know. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Especially like
darn
he
it.
has all of that intent behind him, you know?
On to you, Blue.
He has given up on the stone, as he said. You know, there's no hope for him. No hope for getting that stone.
It's very
and-
dramatic.
Yeah. So he sets his sights on becoming whole again. And he needed 3 powerful ingredients. And then he makes a pun about saying one was at hand, flesh of the servant, his father's bone, and then blood of a foe. And
And
then
you know what? At least he can make some jokes.
True.
I like jokes.
And so I'm going to read a little bit from here. It says, Wormtail would have had me use any wizard. Would you not, Wormtail? Any wizard who had hated me. So many of them still do. But I knew the one I must use if I was to rise again, more powerful I had been when I had fallen. I wanted Harry Potter's blood. I wanted the blood of the one who had stripped me from this power 13 years ago, for the lingering protection of his mother once gave him would then reside in my veins too. And he's like, but how do I get to him? How do we get to Harry Potter, the boy who lived, kid he wants to kill?
The thing I love about that is that he is so wrong in taking Harry's blood. He's so wrong. Because, I don't know if you guys remember, but in seven, he says how, Dumbledore says how that was completely the wrong thing for Voldemort to do, because while he took Harry's blood and while Harry's mother's protection was still alive in Voldemort, he tied Harry to Earth while he still lived. And I love that. I love that, the fact that Voldemort literally cannot understand that that protection at all, that he keeps making these mistakes. And it makes me so happy that Lily is the real MVP, and I cannot stop hiccuping, and I hate it.
Lola. And then I want to read a little bit more because there's just so many things.
Sarah
to
and I were
say.
talking, and we were saying how, like, her giving the gist of her part was probably not good, and it should be read.
So Dumbledore.
What do you mean?
Like,
I just wanted.
she
I
needs
like
to read it
there's some
verbatim.
like
Oh,
yeah.
got it.
So Dumbledore invoked an ancient magic to ensure the boy's protection as long as he is in his relation's care. Let me repeat that. Dumbledore invoked an ancient magic to ensure the boy's protection as long as he is in his relation's care. Should I repeat it for a third time for the win? And I will. Dumbledore invoked an ancient magic to ensure the boy's protection as long as he is in his relation's cares. Not even I can touch him there. Then, of course,
What are you getting at? What are you getting at?
he has to be in his relation's cares.
Yep.
Someone who's related to
Yeah.
him. Just making sure that people understand that.
Okay.
Then, of course, there was the Quidditch World Cup. I thought his protection might be weaker there, away from his relations and Dumbledore, but I was not yet strong enough to attempt kidnap in the midst of a horde of ministry wizards. And then the boy would return to Hogwarts, where he is under the crooked nose of that muggle-loving fool from morning until night. So how could I take him? Why? By using Bertha Jorgen's information, of course. Use my one faithful Death Eater stationed at Hogwarts to ensure the boy's name was entered into the Goblet of Fire. So we know Bertha Jorkins was a wealth of knowledge for Voldemort, and because of her, he was able to use one of his death dudes to be stationed at Hogwarts to help facilitate his evil plan and to make sure that Harry would get the cup first, and that when he touched it, he'd be whisked away to the Yard of Graves and to Voldemort. And Harry would be too far away from Dumbledore and his protection, and then Voldemort would finally be able to get to him.
Wow.
So then Voldemort crucios Harry, and it hurt. And it says, the pain was beyond anything Harry had ever experienced. His very bones were on fire. His head was surely splitting along his scar, and his eyes were rolling madly in his head. He wanted it to end, to black out, to die.
The eye thing threw me off, like if you think about
and
that.
I just want to point out that, so first of all, it's almost like for me, I forget that he already has an injured leg.
Yeah.
He's been through that whole maze, injured
Cut.
leg. Now he's like being like, he's tied up crazy tight. His arm is bleeding everywhere.
Yeah.
And now he's being crucioed.
Yep.
The poor kid just wants to die.
Tied up.
That's not how I viewed it, but
I'm just thinking.
yeah. When the pain was gone and he was limply hanging there looking into Voldemort's eyes, and the death dudes were all laughing, which is so messed up. And as usual, Voldemort then goes into a speech about how he was foolish to think this boy was ever stronger than himself and that Harry escaped him because of a lucky chance. But he's going to prove it to himself and everyone there by killing Harry once and for all. But because Voldemort's such a nice guy, he really truly believes in a fighting chance. So he's going to let Harry fight, and then everyone will truly know that Voldemort is stronger than a 14-year-old boy.
You know what? I think that's really
Good
nice.
for the ego.
I think that's nice. Giving him a chance.
And then he's like, Nagini, then you'll have a snack once I'm done with him. And then he tells Wormtail to untie Harry and to give him back his wand.
Dude,
And
what a
so
way to
then-
end a chapter, though.
Right, I know.
It all got unraveled.
And
Ultimate
tell me
cliffhanger.
you weren't to the next page.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
I liked Vinny
put it
said in
down.
the chat that this definitely feels like Joe is writing for people right now who just search for plot holes.
Oh, yeah. No, I completely feel that. Yeah,
Yeah.
she's explaining things. Maybe that's the reason for his monologue, but
Possibly,
you know.
but
Who cares?
I like it.
Yeah. I literally remember reading this the first time and just flying through the end of this book. And when we read it this time, because I finished it a very long time ago, I literally did the same thing. And I think I tweeted about it. I was like, I can't stop reading this. Like, it's so good.
It's like there's almost so much information you had to like go back and be like, wait.
Yep,
What did I
yep.
just
Oh,
read?
she filled in so many like gaps and
Yeah.
things and made you question stuff.
And you know, this is how really we get a lot of our information. Like, think about the whole story of like Sirius Black and everything back in POA with Hagrid doing his big monologue.
Yeah.
At like, you know, with all those peeps in the bar.
Yeah.
And he's telling his whole saga, and you hear it from his point of view. Like, she likes, and I like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's more interesting hearing it as a conversation than it is just flat out reading it, to me at least.
No, I completely agree. Because then sometimes the other characters will ask questions that you also have.
Yeah.
Not in this case, but in Hagrid's case for
Yeah.
sure.
I wonder, like, so I think that, how am I supposed to word this? Because I wrote in the corner, so talking about his relative's care, and I said, so not his mother's protection. So, like, did he use, like, some type of blood magic to ensure the loveness that came from his mother? Do you get what I'm saying? To really tie him. Because, like, at the end of the day, Lily still also loved her sister. Is that part of the whole relation
Petunia,
thing?
remember
You know what I mean?
my last? Do you think that could have something to do with... Do you think Petunia was in on it?
In on like the fact that he had to stay there to be protected.
Yeah, because when
Oh,
she gets
for
the
sure.
Howler in 5, I mean,
Yeah.
she knows that he has to stay. But I'm wondering if it was more than him telling her, this kid has to stay because of this. Or did they use Petunia's blood for something?
Maybe.
Like, just making that love protection of Lily's stronger.
Well, we know that Dumbledore does a lot of love, blood stuff. Just saying.
True.
You're not wrong.
Yeah. So, possible. Because I always thought, like, do they ever... I can't remember if they talk about it in 6. Petunia remember... Or even in the end of 5, because it's been so long. Petunia remember my last. Like, what did that exactly mean? We know it was Dumbledore. We know it was because Harry couldn't leave Privet Drive and not stay out... Like, not be under their care. He has to call that place home. And it clearly has to be with a relative. But what does that exactly mean? Last what your conversation was, what you did, was there a spell?
I think it was
Did they
his
explain
last letter to her. Is how I
that all it
always
is,
took
you
it.
think?
Yeah,
But,
like
like,
the
what's
last
in
thing
the
we talked
letter?
about.
Like, I wonder.
Yeah.
Did we ever find out?
I don't remember.
I don't think so.
I don't remember either. That's why we're doing the podcast. Welcome to Swish and Flick. This is the lightning bolt round.
All right, lightning bolt round. From Carly, did they all really believe Voldemort was dead? I'm guessing Death Eaters. Did they believe he really wouldn't come back?
I think yes.
I think some of them, yes.
I think most of them, because the fear is like so great. It's like, oh, he's gone. Like, we're free. When you think you're never going to get
Yeah.
out of that, like, contract, for lack of a better word. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. I think most of them, yes.
From Isaiah, what did Snape tell Voldemort to regain his trust?
That he was
I
still a
feel-
spy.
I
don't
feel
know.
like
He
this
knew he was never really gone, and he was keeping his position.
Correct. I think that he basically explained
Sorry, I
himself
cut you
being
off.
like, you know, I knew how things worked around the first time, like, you know, we need an inside man. I'm your guy for it. And I couldn't blow my cover by leaving the middle of school
Right.
and doing all these things. Like I had to keep up appearances. You know what I mean? And he gives him value information. Like he is one of his like right hand men, you know?
Yeah. He's like, he and Bellatrix, like, that's it.
Because, like, if you think about it, like, Bellatrix is shocked that he knows about
Right.
the whole Malfoy thing.
Right,
And he's
yeah.
like,
Which should let you know that he doesn't have relationships. Like, whatever you think is a relationship with Voldemort, it's not. Not even Snape.
not even Bellatrix.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
You find anything, Meg?
What are you looking for, babe?
I thought for sure that there was discussion somewhere about what exactly he did tell
I think it was on
Voldemort
something you were looking at earlier.
to get his trust back.
I think it was in one of your earlier links.
Was it?
I think.
Really?
I
I
think
wish
so.
I had an iPad Pro.
You search while I continue the lightning bolt
Yeah, that's
round.
that's-
Okay. From Carly, what sort of thing would you use to call your followers?
Oh, gosh.
Sarah's supporters.
Oh, God.
Katie's comrades.
Tiffany's team.
How about you, Meg?
Meg's Munchkins.
Meg's mongrels.
Meg's mongrels.
Meg's movers.
Oh, from Bev, what sort of present do you bring someone for their rebirth day?
A rebirthday cake.
Bone of the father.
A passy with a passy clip. Some puffs.
A kitten.
A baba.
Can't stand you.
These are all Lara's things. What else does she like? Babies. She likes
The receipt
blocks.
from their returned gift.
Ooh.
Just kidding. I don't
A
know.
puppy. A turtle.
From Vinny, do you think Voldemort planned for a dinner with the Death Eaters after the resurrection ceremony? If so, what would be on the menu?
I don't think that guy eats.
He doesn't have lips. How's he eat?
Oh
Yeah,
my
for
God.
real. How does he? Yeah, you can't eat.
You can,
You can't use a spoon without lips.
They
He's
would.
got straws.
there'd be no soup on the menu.
I can't stand any of you. I think that they would have like flavored lists, like mashed potatoes that are just mashed
Death
potatoes.
Day
nothing in 'em.
party food.
Ugh,
But
rotten
like,
fish.
but Death Day party food that's not bad,
Rotten.
like rotten. It's just not good. You know what I mean? Like chicken with no salt, pepper, or
Just
any other
bland.
seasoning. Yeah,
Why,
everything's
though?
bland. Because they all seem
Do you
bland.
think
You know what I
Voldemort
mean?
eats? Do you think he goes to the bathroom?
Yes, he's a human being.
It's just weird.
Well, I never see it happen in the book, so it can't be true.
Right?
Well,
no
Harry
one,
never goes to the bathroom.
no one goes to the bathroom.
He only goes
He
to the
goes
bathroom.
into Myrtle's bathroom,
He takes one bath for 7 years.
right? Goes into the prefix bathroom.
One time.
Voldemort doesn't eat because he doesn't have lips.
Oh
That's
my
my
God,
answer.
It was the one time.
The lipless lord eats no food.
He ain't got time for that. He's plotting.
Button.
I hate all of you.
Learning how to talk with no lips.
You're so out of your mind.
Walking around without shoes. What's wrong with you?
No lips, no shoes,
No service.
They can't go out to eat. That's it. They can't.
It's not that funny.
It's really been a long day. Meg's had a day.
Oh, no lips, no shoes, no service. That's the best thing I've ever heard.
Is it Katie?
That's a lie.
It is.
So funny.
Oh, Carly.
So funny.
Quick answer. How did Voldy learn all this dark magic?
Self-taught.
Self-taught. I agree with you.
You don't have lips. You have to find something to do.
Oh, he had lips at one point in time.
Slughorn was duped into giving him very small information that was literally just confirming what Voldemort already knew about Horcruxes. It's like Hermione. Think about how she came in knowing all this stuff coming from a Muggle home. He is completely self-taught, and he has the drive to do it because of his crummy upbringing.
He's ambitious.
Drop the mic. Boom.
He ambitious, girl. He ambitious in the wrong ways.
All right. Caitlin, do we consider movie... Oh, let me start that over.
Okay.
Do we consider movieisms at least somewhat canon since Joe approved them?
I think it depends on what they are.
Wait, what'd you say? No.
No, if they go against what the book says, then no. If she's adding the fun little facts in that are like on the side, sure.
Yeah, I agree with that. Because, like, for example, that fire at the burrow,
Yeah.
that never happened.
Yeah, that was
Correct.
dumb. That is not canon.
Yeah. Yeah. Vinny, what is your favorite monologue in the books? This isn't really a monologue.
Oh,
it's just
I
a
have
quick... I like in Sorcerer's Stone when Harry goes off his first, like, angry tangent when he's talking to Ron and Hermione, and he's like, we're going to the trapdoor tonight. I'm never going to the dark side. Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
and he gets,
that's a
like,
good
all
one.
fired up. I like that
Why
one a lot.
not? They have cookies.
That's true. They do have cookies.
Yeah.
My favorite monologue is whenever Harry and Voldemort are circling each other in the Great Hall, and
It's
Harry
so
tells
good.
him
Oh, yeah.
everything.
I love when
It's
he
been
calls
so
him
long.
Tom.
Yeah, and then he like tells him about how he's now given the love protection to everybody.
Right, and then
And it's over.
it's so good.
yeah.
So good.
It's been so long. I bet that'll be my
Kate,
favorite.
it's so
I
good.
know. So
It literally has
He's
been.
like-
I don't remember
Oh,
the
God.
last 3 books.
He's
Nope,
like, but
me
you
either.
don't get it, do you, Tom? And Voldemort's like, you dare? And Harry's like, yeah, I dare.
Tom.
So good.
It's so,
So
good.
good.
He's so good. I love it. I gotta listen to 7 again. I think it's just so darn good.
Next question.
Mike says we have to answer for each other for this one. How long would your monologue be?
Wait, I
wait,
didn't
hold
say
on.
my monologue, and neither did Sarah.
I don't really
Sorry.
have them, but I'll agree with that.
I thought you agreed with mine.
No, I love that, but I also like the Sorting Hat song in 5 when she gives the warning.
Ooh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Or he, the hat,
It.
the hat.
Yeah, I don't
The
know if that
hat.
has a gender.
I don't know why I said he.
You actually said she.
I don't know why I said she.
I mean, I like it. Girl power.
Jonathan calls everything she and girl
Who's
Girl.
from
Queer Eye.
Yes,
I love him.
queen.
that? Oh, you know what? I haven't seen that.
It's so
my
good.
God.
It's like feel good. Like
Yeah.
it lifts you up.
know.
You're going to cry, but it lifts you up.
Yeah.
Literally just watched an episode where this guy adopted a dog and
I
cried
can't.
pretty hard.
I
No, it was so
no,
cute.
it's like a good
It's a
cry,
good cry.
though.
Look
It's
at
the
that.
best kind of cry.
It's the
dog.
best kind of
Yeah,
cry.
It was so good.
Yeah. I love that show so much.
Before we answer how long everyone's would be, who would have the longest monologue out of the 4 of us?
One of you two.
Megan.
I would say Megan.
Probably Meg. She likes her soapboxes.
I like to talk.
You like to talk too, though.
Hers would be longer.
Uh,
Tiffany's would be. So let's rank. It'd be Megan, me, Tiffany, then Katie.
sure.
And it depends on how much time I have to prepare. Because if I have time to like pre-prepare, I can write a long thing. But if you just have me like on the cusp, nope.
Katie
Nope.
would just say bye. You think I would be longer? Vinny thinks I would be longer than Megan.
I think that we would probably be close.
Yeah, but you'd be longer.
Okay.
Vinny says, "Can Voldy wear sunglasses with no nose?"
No.
No.
Just
can wear
like he can't
sunshades.
put lipstick on either with no
I need you-
lips.
He throws the shade. He don't wear it.
It
You
is
know,
a figure of
You almost
speech.
have no lips.
I've got
And you
enough
can
to
talk.
put lipstick on.
I mean, he can talk. He probably
it's
could put
a-
lipstick on if he wanted
It's
to.
a figure of speech. He has lips.
He
They're
doesn't,
just
Tiffany.
Thin.
No, he has no. It says lipless. It
Yeah,
doesn't
but
say
you-
little lips. It says lipless.
I hate you.
He works for the Little Lips team. It makes me think of Little Leagues.
Yeah, he can't whistle for sure.
Some people with big lips can't whistle. I'm
Maybe he
sure.
whistles with his teeth. Bev asked, "Have you ever realized you were working for the wrong cause or on the wrong side of something? Were you able to Regulus black that junk?"
I've been in support of people who I thought were doing the right thing and realized that they were doing the wrong thing, and now I'm not on board anymore. Does that count?
Yeah, like
That's my
my
current
views on
life
things
situation.
have changed. Like since like grade school, high school, like as I've grown
Yeah.
up and become more
You've
educated
realized
with
your
the world.
ignorance.
Yeah.
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 Like talking about lipless things.
But
for
like you know,
hours.
you learn and you
No, I'll
evolve
never.
and you grow.
That's
Yeah.
what Carly
And
just said. Being well informed can make you grow and become a better person.
Yes. And all people, like, it doesn't matter, jokingly, when we were talking about before how, like, a woman can change their mind, it's her prerogative. Anybody can change their mind, it's their prerogative.
Only
Just,
I can change my
I will never grow out of my views on polydactyl cats. Yeah.
Oh,
I
boy.
can't.
Or lipless. Voldemort.
Lipless Lord. All right, we have one more sort of lightning. It ties in.
I want to discuss this, Vinny,
I know,
but I
I know. Should we
almost
save
want
it?
it to be a Felix Files.
Yeah, Vinny, we hear you, believe me.
What did he say?
We're gonna
he
save
wants us to
it.
We're
discuss
saving it.
The Potter biblical.
I'm saving it right
comparison.
It's
now.
going to be a Felix Files.
Yeah, it is.
So,
100%.
So we actually have, before we get to the fan story,
Yes.
a special request
Yes, we do.
emailed in. I'm handing it over to good old Meg.
Turn
We
your
do.
ears up and listen.
So we would like to give an extremely special shout out to our listener, Sophie, from Arlington, Virginia. She's a Griffin Claw. And also shout out to her boyfriend, Artie, who is a Hufferin. So, the couple is all 4 houses. How cool is that?
I like it.
She's 17, and she was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma last March. And her mom actually wrote to us and said some really kind things, and we really appreciated it. She said that we have been a bright spot while Sophie goes through chemo and radiation. So we want to give the biggest thank you to Sophie for letting us be a light in her darkness. We've always said this. It's crazy to us that just 4 friends getting together to talk Potter can spark happiness in other people. It is every time we get a story about these, it touches us. About something like this, it touches us. And it really means a lot to us that anybody would reach out and just say thank you. So from the bottom of our hearts, we wish you health, happiness, light, and strength. You've got this.
Yes. Sophie, you are strong.
Yes.
You can do this.
That
And
is-
Artie, you're amazing.
Yes.
And your mom.
You're all amazing.
For
And thank
sending
you.
this.
Yeah, thank you. That's seriously, like Mike said, it truly touches us. And the fact that anybody wants to say thank you, we almost want to say
No,
thank you
thank
for
you.
what? We're just talking, but truthfully, we know that people have said we've changed their lives, but all our swishers have changed our lives as well.
Yes.
And we
So
say
it's a
that
two-way
all the
street.
time. Yeah.
Thank you. We wish you nothing but absolute magic and awesomeness. And you're great.
I agree.
Fan story?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you guys got double swisher stories today.
Yes.
It's pretty awesome.
Check this out. Phonetically spelled.
I know. I love when people do this for me. So let's see if I can do it. This is from Aubrey Spivey. Yes. It's
Yes.
just how it's spelled. Although I probably would have said it weird. Okay. I'm Aubrey Spivey, a proud Slytherin, or based on the more fine grade categorization, a Slither Claw. My wand is English.
Popular combo.
Slither
Sorry, go
Claw?
ahead. Yeah.
My wand is English oak with unicorn heart string, 10 3/4 in length with supple flexibility. My Patronus is a Thestral. That's really cool.
That's cool.
That is awesome.
What? That's like bananas rare.
Yeah,
That's
that's
really
so
cool.
Bananas aren't rare, so I don't know why you're saying it like
the
that.
Threstal bananas are.
The what?
Thestral
I said
bananas.
Threstal. It's Thestral. I'm very tired.
My Ilvermorny house is the Horned Serpent. Even though I'm part of the generation that grew up with Harry, I initially had a hard time getting through the first book. I was a relatively advanced reader and thought I was too advanced for them. My older sister, who is 3 years older than me, started reading them and fell in love. I followed suit as I did everything she did. Now I'm 29 and in graduate school. I find that rereading the books and watching the movies helps me get through my week. The books and movies have served to help me in moving past significant traumas and in being a source of joy and good memories. 5 years ago now, I was the first responder to my grandmother's heart attack. I felt extreme survivor's guilt and was not really able to process the emotions of filling that role and then planning her funeral. For a long time afterwards, I struggled, and whenever I was feeling like I couldn't face another person, I would curl up in a fuzzy blanket with a cup of tea and watch the movies. It felt like safety and home. I was able to forget what was going on and become immersed in J.K. Rowling's world. Even now that I am doing well and have worked on addressing my traumas, I still go to Harry Potter when I'm feeling good or bad. It is always there for me. It has helped me form special bonds with friends, family, and myself. My sister, a Hufflepuff, and I have shared many happy memories talking about it, reading it together, seeing the movies, and being active members of the fandom. Last year for Christmas, I gave her a trunk with all of her first-year essentials.
Oh my gosh.
Complete with snow owl stuffed animal. I think it's true what they say about Hufflepuffs and Slytherins making such good friends. High five.
Honestly, though.
Yeah, truthfully. I'm happy to have found you all. I love having another reason to reread the books and watch the movies. I look forward to your updates every week and on your YouTube channel. Don't let the muggles get you down. That's awesome. Once again, like, Potter is just like, what do you need Potter for? It's got you. You know what I mean? Like, it's home no matter what.
I've been listening to the audiobooks to help me lately. I've been having kind of a rough time the past couple of weeks. Hopefully by the time this comes out, it'll be a little bit different. But, yeah, the start of the school year is really kicking my behind and some other things. So I've been listening. And honestly, like, Potter helps.
It does.
It really does. So thank you so much for your story, Aubrey.
Yeah, thank you.
Yes, thank
so
you.
much. Also, I want to give somebody a trunk with all their first year essentials.
Yeah.
Oh my
That's
God,
adorable.
I should totes
Our
do that
child.
for Rose.
Yeah, you need to.
Yes.
Watch her not like Harry Potter when she grows up.
She will love a Harry Potter.
How can you not?
She will love a Harry Potter.
Yeah.
She already has her little Harry. You guys, do you remember the Voldemort that I got in Diagon Alley? Well, technically Nocturne Alley.
Yeah, I
For
remember
the
that.
19 Years Later party. So she saw it on my shelf and she was like, that. So I gave it to her. I was like, this is Voldemort. And she's kissing him and rubbing his head. And she held him and she was like this and she was patting his back. And I was like, oh, honey. You know what he would say to you? He would say, no, thank you. Okay.
Can he kiss back with no lips?
No. Poor Bellatrix. Can't get
I don't
any,
think she was complaining.
can't get any kisses from Voldy.
Voldy smooches. They don't exist.
Go.
All right. Follow us on Facebook at Swish and Flick Podcast, on Twitter and Instagram at Swish Flickcast, on YouTube at Swish and Flick Podcast, and on Patreon, where you can get access to our Discord chat, our Felix Files episodes. You can be on a Felix Files episode. You can hang out with us in our Google Hangouts, actually Zoom Hangouts. What?
Box.
And
You were not doing a box.
You
I
did a
saw a
heart.
circle.
I don't know what she was doing.
That's not a box.
And if you join
It's a square.
if you join Phoenix Plus, you will be eligible to get the Phoenix Plus box, as long as you sign up by November 1st.
Yeah.
You
if
also
you
still
saw
have
in the-
hold on. You also still have to be a patron by the time we send them out.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a Phoenix Plus patron.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Support.
Please.
And if you saw on the internet highway that it said September 1st, that's because that was me and I had the date wrong.
But I edited it. It's
November.
okay. So now it says November 1st.
I just want to reiterate though, we wouldn't be able to do 90% of the cool things that we do without Patreon. So
Nope.
like,
True.
thank you to everyone that does is a patron and that helps support us, because that helps us be able to meet more of you and do more fun things and travel to see you guys. So we truly,
Yes.
truly, truly appreciate it.
Yeah.
You guys keep it going.
And so I don't know if you guys ever look at our goals on Patreon, but our next goal to hit is to try to be able to go to the studio tour in London together as a group so that we can see it, talk about it, give you guys more content about it, vlog it. I mean, we would love to be able to do that for you, but we can't do it until we hit that goal.
And this is truly, truly groundbreaking. We would podcast about it.
We would.
I thought you were going to say something like super serious and I was like, what? breath.
And we
I
would
was like
also
listening, bated breath.
we would also really, really love to be able to do a couple meetups over in the UK as well.
Yeah.
All 4 of us.
Yeah. More than one location in the UK.
Yeah. So we would really, really like that to happen. And we know that we've got a while to go until we're there, but it's,
It's in the works.
it's a goal that we would like to do. So
It's in the works if we can do it. We already have some ideas, so we just need the
That and
The means to get
realistically, if in a couple of years we do a Swisher con,
yeah,
that's also something that
would be
Patreon would
Patreon
be
funded.
very helpful in having funds for.
yes.
If people would be interested in
Basically, we just
SwishCon.
want you guys to know that we really take this money and put it back into the pod, and we want to bring more content to you. So,
Yep.
and we really appreciate all the support that we get.
Yeah, we can't thank you enough.
Yes. All right. Plug other stuff. Tiff, do you have anything?
Did we do social media?
Yeah.
I did it.
Oh, I thght you were just talking about Patreon.
Nope, I did all of it already.
that. Oh, were you here for this?
No.
Welcome to the podcast, Tiffany.
Hi. It's been great. Tiffany. I'm Tiffany. No, I'm just, what am I doing? I'm teaching. I'm podcasting. I'm wifing and momming and dog momming. What have I been doing? We've got a lot of weddings coming up this month. I don't know when this is released.
Your nephew's a year old by the time this comes out.
Mr. Gwant. Gonna do some fun pumpkin patch things with Miss Rose, and hopefully she'll be a little more attentive this year. I believe she fell asleep a few times last year.
Well, she was extra little.
She was itty bitty. Oh. And I love her, and she's awesome, and she can count to 3.
It's big time.
She's so
She's so cute. We're trying to get her to count to 5.
yeah.
Is that it?
I do not like letter Kenny, Maya, Mia, whatever, how we're saying that. I love Discord.
All right, so I wanted to give a huge thank you to a listener. Her name is Nancy Mack, and she sent us this awesome package and letter.
Who's that? It's Nancy Mack.
Oh my
She's basically
gosh.
the best.
She's basically so she
I
sent us.
did look. I was like, I don't know who is that.
So she did send us her Potter story, which I'm going to save for another day. But I just wanted to plug her little shop because she sent us these little reusable cotton rounds and face cloths. And she made she bought the fabric specifically for us. These aren't on her Etsy shop, and they're custom made for us and just really sweet.
We're so
I
excited.
can't wait to use it.
I know.
But she says that she listens to our podcast while she sews for her Etsy shop.
Oh, that's awesome.
Actually, now that I'm looking at this, she didn't tell me what her Etsy shop is called. It's a small batch manufacturing business based in Toronto, Canada, focused on children's wear fashion
Canada.
design. Etsy shop focusing on zero waste products.
That's awesome.
Tell us your shop.
You have to tell us your shop because I will plug it because they're super good quality.
They're so cool.
So she sent us little makeup cotton rounds that are reusable and face cloths with a little Harry Potter pattern that is super
so
cute. But if you email us your shop name, I will tell everybody about it because they are super soft and super cute and nicely made.
And the world needs to know.
Would you say
Yeah.
they are quality?
They're
Oh,
quality.
yeah.
Come here, pooch pooch.
So thank you to Nancy.
What?
And then also you can follow me and Katie on Instagram and Twitter at the Petrus Family and on YouTube.
Oh. I'm on Twitter at tiffswish_flick. Follow me.
Is it me now?
Yep.
I've got nothing going on. Still in school. I've been the maid of honor for the last time. This is my 7th wedding that I've been in, and I hope
What a good number to end on.
it's so many.
Weddings are a lot.
Out of the 7, 4 of them I've been maid of honor. Out of the 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 possibly I've helped plan bachelorette things. I'm really over it.
I'm
I love my
sorry you have
friends.
so many friends.
I know. I'm also just really tired and I don't feel good right now. But yeah, so I'm kind of glad that it's over. This wasn't that painful though, this last wedding. Some of them were more painful than others.
Yeah,
As
mine.
bridesmaids would know.
Was mine painful?
No. I will say this is the only dress that I would actually wear again. To be
Shut
honest.
your mouth.
I'm not lying.
I'm just saying I let you and Chrissy pick them out.
That's a lie.
I gave you options. You got to pick from them.
I didn't give anybody any kind of option.
I mean, they're all fine. I'm glad. I'm kind of glad that this phase of my life is over. If my sister ever gets married, I'm sure I'll be her maid of honor. And if I ever get married, then I'll be my own bride. So, that'll be the end.
You be your own bride, girl.
Those will be. I honestly think the next wedding I'll be in is mine. It's terribly single, so it won't be happening for a while, but which is fine. I need a wedding break. I need to just attend as a guest from now on. I can't
Fun
make any.
being a guest
It's
and
not
not
really
having
fun
any
being a guest.
responsibilities.
I can't make any more friends. But that's it. And I had 1 month off of travel. Such a first world problem.
Yeah.
So
oh my
just
God, it's been good.
Hopefully, enjoying fall weather and just
Drinking pumpkin stuff and
Oh, gosh.
lighting pumpkin candles
Yes.
and frolicking through the leaves.
Oh my gosh!
Hold
Do
on.
you actually frolic through the leaves?
Yes, I do, yeah.
Frolic.
Mhm.
Let me give one last shout out to our newest Swisher as of right this second, Carly's dad, Tom Johnson. You're the real MVP. Welcome.
That's a good name.
Tom Johnson.
And coming out of left field, we've got Tom Johnson as a new Swisher.
Tom Johnson. Tom Johnson. What's up? What's up? For Voldemort Valor.
For Voldemort Valor.
That concludes this week's episode. Thank you so much for listening, and don't let the muggles get you down.
Bye.
Stop looking at me, Swan.
That's a horse of whatever color.
Amazing! Just like my voice!
Are we recording?
Yes. Don't scare the Hufflepuff.
I had a great straight face. You have to admit it. Because for a second you're like, oh, she's just kidding. Then you're like, oh, wait, no, she's not.
I have a gay face.
I got you this real gay apartment.
Who's Adelaide Prince?
She was some lady. You are a loser, Voldemort. God.
I'm sorry, my head is just stuck on the fact that he doesn't have lips.
Here, don't use lips. You know my goal.
Yeah, you can still say Megan and Petra.